really exciting area. I think it's the most exciting area in medicine today in relation to particularly how we use the information that we get both in terms of genetics, epidemiology and clinical data and bring that together. One of the things that's been very exciting has been the ways in which we can actually do that and use that to really put greater value into the data. About 6-9 months ago, we developed a blueprint working very closely with the Global Alliance of Genomics and Health to look at ways in which we can share data. One of the challenges we felt and one of the problems across the academic community and also the industry community was that people were generating data, putting it in silos and then keeping it and not sharing it. And the thing is, the value of that data is much bigger when it's actually shared and used more effectively. Now, there are challenges associated with it. The first challenge is a technical challenge, so how do we actually link different data sets? I think that challenge is surmountable. I think we have technologies that we can use, we have artificial intelligence approaches that we can use, data mining approaches we can use. So yes, it's a technical issue, but it's a solvable issue. I think what's much more important is an attitude problem. And so what we find is that a lot of communities, and this is both in industry and in academia, have this idea of actually holding on to the data. And we really are fundamentally opposed to that. What we want to do is see a culture of data sharing where people can actually collaboratively share the data. That can sometimes be in the pre-competitive space, so that actually it still allows people to then do particular things with certain aspects of the data. And one of the things we said was, well, how can we actually do that? So how can we deliver this data sharing culture? So we provided a blueprint which we published in Nature Medicine about a year ago, and that blueprint really provided the ethical framework in relation to doing this, so taking due diligence in relation to data privacy, in relation to the sharing of data across borders. The second thing then was the technical way, and so how do we actually link in genetic data, epidemiological data and clinical data? And it's not easy. Okay, so that's very important, but I think if you have what I would call a coalition of the willing, we can actually do a lot of things that are very constructive. One of the things that people have highlighted a lot when we talk to them, because we've consulted widely and at this meeting we've had a number of presentations in relation to this, is what do you do in the context that data protection legislation doesn't allow you, for example, to move data between the US and Europe, would be perhaps an example. And what we're saying is, well, we actually have a solution for that. So the solution is that the data stays in the same day, so in the same place. So the primary data that includes clinical information on the patients. And then what you do is you port a solution, so a bioinformatics solution or an app solution or an API solution to the data, do the analysis, then pull out the information that's generated from that. So the data still stays in the same place, and yet you've still been able to use it most effectively. And we feel that's a model that is adaptable, that is scalable, and we're encouraging the scientific community to really take that on board and work together to achieve that aim. In order to do that, one of the things that we did then earlier this year, and we published in May in the New England Journal of Medicine, was really said, okay, let's have a call to action. So let's really get serious about this. A call to action to the scientific community, the industry community, also the patient advocacy community, to really work together to have this global data sharing. So if you think about it, it's almost like having an internet or a web of genomics. And you can then use it to actually help to identify new, for example, genetic variants that may be linked to disease. So this will have implications not only in terms of research, but also in terms of identifying new therapeutic targets, which obviously industry would be interested in, but also from the patient perspective, it gives them a much more clear way in which they can see where, if there's information available, that they're getting access to that information. Yes, exactly. So it's really a mirror of the World Wide Web, but specifically in genomics and health, if you like. And I'm quite excited about it. We've been talking about it a lot in various workshops in this meeting. Ewan Birney, who's the head of the Global Alliance of Genomics and Health, gave a talk here and really presented some of the details of that as well, as did myself. And obviously we've had a lot of feedback, very positive feedback to our ideas, which we, as I said, articulated in the New England Journal of Medicine, but then have been talking with people as to how the nuts and bolts of it.